Today's going to be a really quick video. If you have a car that does not have the mounting holes for your license plate frame in the front, I think I have a pretty simple solution for you. And it's going to involve 3M automotive double-sided tape. So let me flip the camera around and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So when I purchased my BMW X1 E84, which is right out here, did not have any front mounting holes for the license plate bracket or frame. I didn't want to go about drilling holes in it. Now you can buy online one of these off-center ones that mounts into the tow hitch on the front, and you can buy one of those. They're over $50. I wanted a more inexpensive or almost free solution, and I like to have my license plate in the center. So if you look at this, and this is going to apply to all cars in terms of the method I'm going about, but depending on your type of license plate frame, it's going to be a bit different. This is probably used on more than one BMW. Of course, this obviously is made to fit on the bumper of the X1 E84 chassis, but I would imagine BMW's used this in other cars. But I got to thinking, okay, I don't want to drill holes in the front of my car. Now, why does my car not have front mounting holes for the license plate frame? Well, my car is 2015, it's 8 years old. It was previously owned in Georgia and Indiana. And both of those states don't require front license plate. And BMW doesn't pre-drill any of those holes for license plates. They leave it up to the car dealerships. And when this car was bought originally in Georgia, the dealership there had no reason to drill the holes because it wasn't required. Now, I live in Illinois, so the front license plate is required. So I need to figure out a way to mount this without having, I could drill the holes, but I don't want to permanently alter my bumper by drilling those holes in the front. So again, this will apply to most cars that might have this situation. It's probably going to be mostly imports. Any American car is going to have the front holes, since most states do require them. I think there's maybe a dozen or so that don't. So oddly enough, the two previous states that my car was owned in, they weren't required. But I imagine some of the imports like BMW, this can certainly apply to. So I got to thinking and I realized, first off, I can't put this flush against the bumper and put double-sided tape down here, because you have this little lip that comes up, and the way this hooks onto the body, it's made to obviously have these screws gone through and through the front bumper. So I got to start thinking I need something that can go right in here that I can attach to this that will give me a surface that will adhere to the front bumper of the car. So I got to looking around and I had this little plastic case. Now, oddly enough, this is a outer case to a LiPo battery for an MJX Bugs 2 drone that I reviewed on my channel and had for years, because obviously I do RC as well. So this is one of the times where RC will overlap with the real car stuff. And this happens that this is just the perfect size. So what I was going to do is I'm going to put some double-sided tape here and then some on this side. I'm going to stick it like this, get it centered obviously. I'm going to stick it right in here. So the top piece is going to adhere to this plastic, and the two strips on the back onto the actual frame. And then what I would do is run some double-sided tape here and here, and maybe a few this way as well. And that's all going to stick to the front bumper of the car. So that's what I'm thinking is going to be my solution to get this on the car without having to drill any holes and mess with any screws. Now, if you want to do this and you have an X1 that needs the front plate, or a different BMW that has this same bracket, and you do need this type of a block, then anything that's going to not deteriorate and fall apart. So a piece of like wood would be fine. A piece of metal if it's not too heavy, and of course something of plastic. You can't use paper or cardboard or something that's going to get wet and fall apart. And speaking of that, make sure that you're using 3M exterior double-sided automotive tape. That means this has been designed to withstand water and hot and cold and ice and snow. So it's not going to want to fall off. You just use some cheap double-sided tape, it's probably going to fall off. You don't want the license plate falling off on the highway. So do keep that in mind. Now you may also say, well, this is not very permanent. Well, it isn't necessarily permanent, but if you use screws, know, someone could steal your plates off your car with a screwdriver just as easily they could pull this off. So the only obviously risk is this going to hold good enough? And that's going to be the test. I think it's going to be just fine considering how lightweight this is. And if I show you very quickly, that same kind of double-sided automotive tape is on the back side of these visors that go on my Kia K5. They've been on for over a year. I've run it through the car wash many times, and it's never budged. So it just shows you how good this 3M automotive double-sided tape is. So do keep that in mind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the video here. I'm going to attach this, put the tape on the other side, and we're going to attach it to the we'll attach it to the car, and then obviously we need to get the license plate installed. I may do that reverse order because I want to get the plate attached, so I might need to have access to the back of the bracket. So let me go ahead and get that started, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I went ahead and got the 3M double side here attached to the back of this block. As you can see, not the greatest job, but it ought to do. I just need to pull off the backing here, and let's go ahead and mount this on the car and see how it holds. Okay, so I have the little hooks inserted down here. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and pull this up, try to get it up above this little lip here, and just press it in and see how it holds. We got some sirens going in the background here, so I apologize for that noise. And I'm just going to start pressing in here. So you have to get these hooks on the bottom, and then press it up and press it in. And we'll just have to see how this holds. So kind of doing it one hand here since I'm holding my phone for this video, but yeah, it's definitely holding. So what I'm going to do is, obviously when I get done with the video, I'll press harder and use both hands. But we have a center mounted license plate frame now that I think is going to work just fine. Okay, I just wanted to jump in here real quick and give you guys an update. This is approximately 24 hours later. As you can see, everything looks to be holding just fine. Now, I did pull this off and did a little bit of modification to my original idea. So what I did is I added a second piece of double-sided tape to it because this was sort of pulling back and it just wasn't quite like, I guess just the design of the bumper, it just doesn't quite reach as well. So with one piece, it was pulling off on the top of that plastic piece. So I have two pieces of double-sided tape across the top of the plastic. The bottom of the plastic block just has one. And most importantly, I believe, is getting the body of the bumper, or the surface of the bumper, I should say, clean with some rubbing alcohol. So if you have waxed or put ceramic spray like I use on the body of your car, and you get it down here on the bumper, you know, that's going to make it more difficult for 3M to adhere to it. So I may put a note there in the video explaining to do that, but if you didn't do that, you know, I think that was also why the double-sided tape was pulling back easier, because of that slick ceramic coating on there that I have was making it, you know, not adhere as well as it should. So some rubbing alcohol on the surface, and then an extra piece. So you, depending on what license plate frame you have, you're obviously going to have to, you know, decide how much double-sided tape to use and where to put it all. But on this BMW one, on that little block, I need to put two across the top. So that's the update I want to give you. So far it's holding, and I feel pretty good about it, but I'm going to obviously be constantly monitoring it, especially as the temperature changes and it gets colder or it gets wet. The last thing I want is this falling off on the highway or something, and then I have to order a new license plate. So that's obviously the biggest concern. Let's go ahead and get back to the main video. Obviously, to put the plates on, I got some screws. They're going to go in here to get these 4 holes for the plates. I'm not going to put this on because I don't want to. First of all, I want to press onto this harder and check it some more. And 2, I don't want to really put my license plate out on YouTube for everybody to see and look up and everything. I'm bad about enough of it in my previous videos, but at least I wasn't zooming in on it. Alright guys, if you found this video helpful and you think it could work for you, please consider subscribing to my channel. If you like anything from RC cars to real cars, drones, RC boats, all that, I covered all. So please consider subscribing. While you're at it, click the bell where you're notified when I do upload new videos. As always, guys, have a great day.